Hello, and welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we're talking with Todor. I just love to say his name. And Todor is a gentleman in Toronto who helps people buy pre-construction condos. And he's very thoughtful about it. He's a very interesting guy, very engaging. People love him. You could see why if you were a client of his, you would be you would enjoy being in a relationship with him. And he's been applying the 8 profit activators to his business. He came to a breakthrough blueprint in June of this year in Toronto. And we have a really great conversation here about kind of debriefing and how to unpack the 8 profit activators in that context of pre-construction condos and creating an experience for people that is, creating a 5-star experience for people when you're selling something that's largely invisible on paper. Right now, that's not going to be done for 2 or 3 years. So it's a conceptual kind of situation. How do you add a service to that? So I think you'll enjoy the conversation and the brainstorming in how to apply the 8 profit activators to a sort of intangible kind of business. So here we go.
Todor.
Mr. Jackson.
That's how I love to say your name. Todor. It just sounds so dramatic.
Thank you, Dean.
So welcome.
So fun.
I would say,
thank you.
I would say long time no see, but I just saw you this weekend, so that was all very exciting.
That's right. Like I saw you a couple of times this year, 2 or 3 times.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We got the whole hour here to hatch some evil schemes, and I know a little bit about your story, but since we're doing this on the podcast, I think it would be a good idea to kind of let you tell people the Todor story, and then let's pick up and see what kind of progress we can make today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my story. I wasn't really prepared for that, but let's jump right into it. Like in my professional background, I was in IT I was for close to 20 years. And I always knew that would be my last job. I loved my job, loved the organization where I worked, but I kind of had this almost like a feeling that I can see into the future that this is going to be my last job. And when it ends, it's going to end. And, what's going to be happening right after that, I had no idea. So when the job ended, I jumped right into real estate and I got my real estate license. I had been doing investment properties like buying, renovating, renting, kind of stuff like small properties for, 15, 20 years prior to that. So I had a lot of experience in real estate and being a landlord, dealing with tenants, that kind of stuff. So I didn't necessarily look at real estate as a profession, but I got my license, immediately, went into investment properties. And it was very natural for me because I had all that experience. So it was a kind of a differentiating factor between me and
you're a natural
all the other agents. Like I had knowledge, experience, and skills that the other real estate agents did not. It was very foreign to them, and it was like really, really comfortable for me.
Awesome.
So I did that for about a year, and kind of like got a little tired from it, and got like a little tired from commuting and going and looking for properties for people, and went into student rentals, which was another passion of mine, because I had student rentals. So, investing in student rentals was something that very, very few people knew how to do. Did that for about a year very successfully, and got tired from that. And I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? So I want to bring my business close to Toronto, and I don't have to, travel an hour or an hour and a half out of town.
Right.
And then I started looking at, selling homes. And I tried, and I tried to follow other agents and their systems, and got into that, but it wasn't something that I was very passionate about, and it shows. When you don't have a passion, like in my case, it just becomes a job, and I was not looking for a job. I was looking for something that excites me every day. And then I met, just like a pure chance. One day I met this guy who invited me to a seminar for pre-construction, and I was very, very suspicious of the whole thing, and I didn't really think about pre-construction very highly, and I didn't really know. But you know how we tell our stories in our head about things that right. So I fell into that. Went to that pre-construction seminar, looked into it, and then the rest is kind of history. I've been doing pre-construction for the past 3 years. I absolutely love it. I love my days. I love my career, my life, the lifestyle, the work, everything. I find it very rewarding because it's a lot of psychology, but it's also a lot of creative work, and every day is different. And I that creative work is what I enjoy the most. Like I like writing, and that allows me to connect with, basically to sell real estate by writing. It's a little bit kind of weird, but I look at myself as a creative person, as a writer, and not so much as a real estate broker. If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I love it. So, because that's the thing you're doing, there's a lot of opportunity, especially in pre-construction, to educate and motivate people, and that's really what you're able to do. So that's awesome. So we got to spend 3 days together in June when you came to the Breakthrough Blueprint event, and then we spent 2 days together just this past weekend when you were at the Go-Go Agent Listing Agent Lifestyle Summit together. All through the Archangel Summit, which was amazing. So tell me, what have you been working on, or what's the thing that you'd love to talk about and maybe explore a little more today?
The time in between when we spent the 3 days in June and the event this past weekend, those 2.5 months in between, I took off, and I was away for the summer, basically. And my plan right after your 3-day event was to go. I went back home to Bulgaria, spend the summer there, and my goal was to kind of really, really dive into everything that we went through, the 8 profit activators, and to just kind of dive deep into every single module and analyze, what I've been doing and what I'd like to do when I come back in September. But what happens is like what happened is that when you take away, when I took myself away from the environment, my business environment, like my brain went into a completely different space, and it was just not possible for me to think about work, but it was like really rejuvenating, and I connected with a lot of friends and people that gave me, the energy and the drive to come back in September and be creative again.
I love it.
So in a preparation of this phone call last night, I did the 8 profit activators, quick start thing on your website.
The scorecard, right?
That's it, online. And I looked at the questions, and it just gave me that chance to figure out where I fall. And in some regards, like I'm at like 1 to 3, and in some regards, I'm at like around 6, 7 on most of the 8 sections. And it was really, really nice to kind of, it gave me an opportunity to feel how I feel about what I do.
Yeah, right. And it's really interesting what people say about doing the scorecard is that the way it's set up to quantify qualitative things, right? So you're quantifying a qualitative kind of feeling that you have, or an assessment of where you are with each of the 8 profit activators. And sometimes that awareness alone of even what the next 2 levels are, if you're at a 6 or 7, that there's to know that there's another level kind of gives that clarity, just even to have the articulation of what it is. So that's good. Hopefully, what I really look for on those is I look for people who are highest on Profit Activator 5, delivering the dream come true result for people, and that you're dialed in on the result, the experience that people are going to have, because that's really what marketing is going to do, is kind of amplify that, and that really creates the bridge for people moving into your after units. I don't know whether you heard the episode. I did a couple of episodes with Dr. Stephanie, Giovanni's wife or partner. Her whole thing was really doubling down on that client experience, the journey there. And I love your kind of enthusiasm and the way you are in person, that I imagine people have a really great experience of working with you and being in your presence. So you've got an asset in that kind of going for you. And then
thank you.
How many people do you have right now that are what I would call unconverted prospects, people who are, in Profit Activator 3 right now? They've raised their hand at some point for something, and you've got the opportunity to communicate with them.
Thanks for that comment. And, my partner, Natalia, always tells me that, people have like a really, great time when we do a transaction with us. But I was going through the Profit Activator scorecard, and I like in myself, like I believe that this is my weakest, and it just goes downhill from there. Like I don't think that and this is what occurred to me last night, because I was thinking about it. I was like, I really have to get serious to understand where my business comes from, and the whole flow as people come in and what their experience is and the referral. So knowing myself, or basically what I know about myself, like I have this hunter mentality. Like I always like new things, and chase new ideas and, shiny objects and all of that. So I'm always like in the chase, after the next exciting thing. And I kind of like drop everything else. And that's just like my natural state, I guess. But what I see the biggest opportunity for my business, going back to the Profit Activator, is really creating and being aware of that experience when people come and buy a pre-construction project with me, and then obviously that is going to lead to them, having this urge to tell about their experience to their friends, and then the referral system basically comes natural. This whole second part of the business is something that I have not focused any effort on. And now I'm thinking like if I apply myself a little bit more here, then it will just even accelerate my success at the beginning, which is, find the deals, find the clients, connect them to deals,
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. And that's, part of the thing is that it's not a fast cycle either.
No.
The thing you're in, that people are making a decision that they're buying something that's not going to be ready for at least 2 years probably, right? And maybe more.
Right. So going back to your question is how many people that I have unconverted in my database right now? I don't have the answer to that, but I would think they are in the hundreds.
Okay. So you've got hundreds of people right now that and this is what I say is that these are visible prospects, meaning that they on some level have raised their hand that they're somewhat interested in pre-construction condos. And that's the thing. Anytime with buyers of things like this, you have those are invisible prospects. You can't get a list of people who are looking to buy pre-construction condos. Like you can get a list of people who have high net worth and that have high income, or you can get people who are a higher probability for that or fit a profile of the kinds of people who might consider pre-construction condos. But the valuable thing that you have is you have hundreds of people right now who have indicated on some level that they are interested in pre-construction condos, and knowing that it's a long educational cycle. Not many people are making an impulsive decision to buy or invest in pre-construction condos.
Very true. Like right on.
Yeah. So showing people and educating them about what's going on. The good news is that what fits right into your natural desire for the new stuff is there are constantly new projects coming on, right? There's always changes in the market. And what it really comes down to is just being able to document all the things that are going on and bring these people along with you on the ride. Some sort of, we talked in June when we were together about this idea of a flagship communication that is either a video or a newsletter. I know you like to write, so emails as a good way of doing this. A monthly newsletter report. Those kind of things are really going to be in your wheelhouse. That's part of the joy of being an entrepreneur, is that you can set things up so that you just play to your strengths. I like to talk, I like to talk more than write.
Right. And I think I enjoy writing. I enjoy collecting information and data and kind of analyzing it, but then distilling it down to what's important to me, like what kind of jumps at me and what I see in all of that information that is coming out. But one technical question here that I have for you. So if I was to come out with, let's say, the Yordanov report on pre-construction real estate for November, what I've noticed is that I'm just opening up, everything here. But what I've noticed that a lot of the developers and, salespeople from the developments are watching me on social media and everything that I do.
Uh-huh.
So when you start comparing one project to another project and you start stacking them up and say, well, this is the better project for me, and this is not as good. Like, how do you not alienate people like on the developer side?
Yeah.
Because those relationships are very important for me. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I get it. And so you have to kind of make a decision of whether you're going to be an opinion leader or whether you're going to be a fact purveyor. Whether you're going to be like Consumer Reports that bring out things and give them a rating and, give your opinion on stuff. You have to decide who you want to be a hero to ultimately, and do it and that weigh it all out. And it's good to have the conversation about it because there are ramifications of dialing to one way or the other, right? Like if you were just going to do something, if your top priority is to maintain your relationship with the developers, then you're only going to say glowing things and things that are, make the developers look good. You're going to focus on the positives there. If your dial is that your fiduciary or your commitment or your sense of concern or responsibility falls over to the buyers, to your clients, then you may say things that are opinion based on which is actually a better view, which is a better investment. And that's, I think that, that balancing that is really going to be the kind of editorial decision that you have to make around how you position things. I remember Gary Vaynerchuk saying when he first started Wine Library TV, doing his wine show, he initially thought that it was going to be like QVC for wine, that he was going to come on and he was going to sell people on buying the wines that he was tasting, right, that demonstrated them. And then he realized that this is going to be on the internet forever and that he can't fake that, so he can't say how great something is and then somebody buy it and have a bad experience with it and then think that he was lying about it, So he made the decision that he was going to say exactly what he felt, and he didn't look back. And he had to juggle that responsibility of or the ramifications of some of the vineyards that they worked with, that they sell the wine in their retail store, were not happy with some of the things that he said about their wine, but ultimately they understood, that it's real. He's saying, make better wine.
Yeah. It's an opinion, right? It's just like one person's opinion. Correct.
And you can do I think insight is a good thing. I think that opinion is different maybe than insight and awareness and analysis based on principle-based things. Like if you're saying, and I think that one of the things we talked about in June was really coming up with this idea of what would make a 5-star property for Todor. What would be the thing that would make one property better than another? If there's a scorecard or a rating or something that's a fixed form of comparison,
that's brilliant,
and evaluation that would give people a sort of a real way to compare things,
That is absolutely
like how,
brilliant. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that, and I'm
right.
definitely doing that.
Right. It's like, Morningstar or some of the financial companies that rate, they compare mutual funds, but doing it on an objective basis, looking at, these sort of parameters, and that way it takes your opinion out of it in a way and you're just helping people, you're kind of directing people in a way that gives them the thing, and they know that if Todor says that this is a 5-star property or a 6 or 7-star, or whatever your rating system is, that's a win. Just like the rating systems for wine, it's like it's an objective, analysis-based conclusion.
Right. That is absolutely brilliant. Like I can actually picture myself with that scorecard, and I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to give it to clients to fill in, and it's going to be a very simple instruction on what, like, let's say 5 fields, and they evaluate all 5 fields and they score them. At the end, they calculate the score. So if it's like within, let's say, 8 to 10 score, then that's a clear buy.
Yeah.
So when they go and see 3 or 4 different projects, they can fill the scorecard for different units, for different price ranges, and then they can see how it scores for them.
Yeah. And that's really brilliant. That way it gets that way you get involved in helping people with the decision process, And I think then there's more, the velocity that the new projects are coming on. Are there new projects every month? How? Oh,
many projects a month. Yes, every month.
Yeah. So that's like, they're so great that you've got this, this fount of new information that's constantly coming. And if you're like the place to go for all of these, as the new ones come on, and you're, really kind of educating people about the new projects, that will become your flagship. Like I would say at least every week, once a week at least, that you are, sending out a very consistent and contextual flagship, that every week you're following kind of a format of, here's the new projects, here's the ones that are, what I think will be really valuable for people is if you look at the different perspectives, here's the projects that are announced but not yet available, right? Like I imagine they announce them first before they're ever available to buy. Here's what's coming. Here's the ones that have just been announced. First of all, is that true that they announce the project first and then that is there a period of time that people know that it's coming before it's available for pre-construction sales?
People that are looking for that information, they can find information of what projects are coming up, and then typically the builder would call on a group of agents that they have on their A list, and will give them first access. And depending on how popular the project is, sometimes the project just sells within that group.
Right.
And there's nothing left for the public or for grand openings or for other agents. It's just like the project is gone. It's sold. And sometimes you'll go into a second phase of sales when, the circle of agents that are invited to bring clients, gets wider. And after that, they may have public opening. So depending on how big and how popular the project is. But you know what? Like one thing that I'd like to have your coaching on, your idea. Um, I started with a real estate investing club where I
Yeah,
would host like monthly meetings, and
I like that.
we just chit chat about real estate. At
Yeah.
that point, I didn't even have a real estate license, so I had I had no business to transact on. It
Mm-hmm.
was just a purely passion and purely information sharing. I had no goal when I was hosting those meetings, and that kind of club gained popularity and momentum. A lot of people joined, and then when I got my real estate license, I was still not selling to the club. I was just like purely informational. And then when I got like really busy with pre-construction, I used the database, but I stopped the meetings because I was just busy. But lately, I feel that even though my email database has grown to a very large number, I'm losing connection with people. So I have this like big number of emails in my database, but I don't see faces.
Right.
Um, I'm thinking, just my fear is like, what if all of them all of a sudden, because I don't have this personal connection with them, what if they,
Yeah.
what if they start chasing another side shiny object, which is, very natural, and then ignore me all of a sudden? Then I have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
so
and
now
that's where,
I'm
how often, so when you were in Bulgaria for the
yes,
summer here, how did people hear from you over the summer, or
no,
did you
not
completely
at all,
take the time off? Yeah.
not at all.
So, so part of it is that you almost need to, um, and there's nothing wrong with taking a seasonal approach to something. Like if you did it over the school year, from September till June,
Yes.
that you've got your season of the report um, that comes out every week. That, I think, got to be step one, right? You have to start getting that context going before
Mm-hmm.
we then start adding new people to it, right? You kind of build the way that you're doing it, like the way it's kind of when you set a weekly context for something, you start to get into that rhythm and people look forward to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I do a podcast every single week, right? Every week there's a brand new More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday that everybody can get into that rhythm that's what's coming. Now,
Yeah.
so that sets the tone for everything that you get to do around that. So whether you would like to just have it be a report, like just the written part of it, if you prefer to only write, that you set it up like a weekly um, newsletter type of situation.
Right.
And if you can include in that, even if I were going to do like just a weekly report like that, I would probably package it as a PDF with a cover, with the, here's what's going on inside, with charts, with something that, is educating people about what's going on in the market. And then you get the opportunity to send an email to everybody talking about, here's this week's report, and you can talk about some of the highlights that are inside, and then you get the opportunity to direct people to the next step. So when you
Right.
start thinking about it, is what are the next steps that are going to make the most sense for people who are considering pre-construction condos? Is
Mm-hmm.
it, to get the, if you've got the specific project info packs, or whatever you want to call it, that if there's a specific project they're interested in, that they can get the full scope, your full commentary on that project, whether it's, if you're hosting or setting up pre-construction condo tours or something, right, where you're going to, or an evening with the developer, or if you're focused on a particular thing, if you start your investment club approach back up, that maybe, how often were you meeting? Once a month with them?
We were meeting once a month, yes.
Yeah. And so maybe if it's like the third Tuesday of every month, you're meeting with this pre-construction, condo club or meeting or workshop, or some way that is an educational bit, but also is, specific new information about a particular project, that might be a useful thing.
Right, and this is what I found myself, like I missed that part, the educational and the sharing and just getting together with people and just talking about what's happening in their life, and what they want to do with real estate, and what's real estate doing for them. It gave me a lot of energy, but it also gave me a lot of insights. And then from that insight, I get ideas of, okay, so this is where people are being stuck, and these are the things that they're trying to overcome. And if we do that, then we can overcome this, and we can move forward. So basically, the business was created out of just those conversations.
Yeah, and that gives somebody something to steer towards, right? Like, all we want is that these people are getting this weekly report, and in that report, that's either going to elevate their interest to the next level, right? So they can say, I'm really interested in this project. Can you get me and you think about the info pack or the prospectus or summary or whatever you want to call it, the report on this project, that they can say, I'm interested in this one, and then the next offer. So whatever you're saying, plus whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. This is the magic of what we get to do with these emails that you're sending every week, right?
Right.
Because we get to say, whenever you're ready, here's 3 ways I can help you. Number 1, get the full info pack on any condo project that's available right now. Just put the name of just reply to this message, put the name of the project in the subject line, and I'll get you the full info pack. Or number 2, join us for for our pre-construction condo workshop on the first or third Tuesdays of every month, and we'll talk about all the new projects. I'll have special guests with developers or whatever it is, and that might be a great thing to get people who are sort of circling their wagons, getting everything ready to make a decision. They're sort of getting more actively investigating things, getting comfortable with things. And then what would be a third thing? Like, what would be the next level that would be something that people might do to indicate that they're really close now to making a decision? What would be kind of the
I was thinking about offering one-on-one meetings, but then I have to be careful with that, because I have to figure out a way to pre-qualify them somehow, so I don't spend a lot of time in endless coffee meetings.
Right.
So I'm kind of like very, very, like when it comes to my time, I'm very stingy. So.
I get it. And I think that you may be creating it may be a bigger imagined problem than it actually is. But, you might want to see and experiment with that first, right? And then, that's the way that even if you have a calendar set up that somebody could go and do this, or one of the things that I love about it is, on the real estate, on the residential side, we do things like we do daily tour of homes. We, tour homes every day at 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. That makes it sound like anybody can just jump on the tour, right? The thing that we really want to trigger for people is that they don't feel like you're going out of your way for it. They want to feel like they're obligated, even though they are. And it's so much more powerful. The best sort of obligation that you can set up with people is the inherent obligation that they feel to, balance out the
wonderful
societal score, rather than you trying to force them into complying.
We tried a condo tour a couple of times with my partner Natalia, and it was very successful.
Perfect. So that might be the thing.
Yeah. Well, we have 10 or 12 people.
Maybe that's the thing that you do that every Saturday, for instance, or if you do it on a particular day or whatever or a particular thing that people know, oh, I'm going to jump on that tour. When you get into this, what people can count on as the boundaries, the predictable boundaries of where you are, that if they know that, when you have these recurring things, that people get comfort in that, and they start to now build around, okay, that's going to be my next step, right? They may come in and they may just start reading your weekly newsletter, and then maybe they get your monthly report, of the in-depth more report of what's going on, and then they see that they can come to a once a month, they can come to this workshop, or that they can come on a Saturday tour or a Tuesday tour or whatever day you set up. That gives people a sense of consistency around it, because if they observe it and they see that, okay, I'm feeling comfortable. Every week I get this report. Every month I get the newsletter, or the journal. Once a month he's got the workshop, or every week I can jump on the tour, or I can get all the info about a particular one. People are getting the lay of the land, right? And they feel confident that now whenever I'm ready, I can move forward here, So something's going to trigger that you're going to be talking about a particular project, and that's going to be, I think that's the one. I know I'm going to get the info pack on that particular project.
This is amazing. Like
it's
really, really coming together in my mind right now, just by listening to you.
You're putting it's almost like the skeleton around it, right?
The other person that you brought in on the weekend to speak to us, Sally. Right, and how she was talking about like being different, and now I see how just by doing what you're saying, that would put me in a very, very different light. Like I'm not going to be one of these other agents that are all sending emails and just like so much more depth, and
right.
It's different.
Yeah,
useful.
And you're totally appealing to people because everybody who's going to do something is going to investigate first. They're going to be in that investigative phase, and as they're investigating, you being the source for them to get factual, objective, information that's going to help them compare. That's a really great thing. And it's kind of an interesting thing if people had, you talked about Sally Hogshead is who you're talking about that came and
yes.
joined us on Sunday. Now, her assessment, her how to fascinate assessment is really a wonderful thing for people to get a sense of how they are uniquely viewed in the world. And there's a lot to learn from that. When you look at the way having a scorecard or having an assessment or having something that would help people discover themselves and maybe categorize themselves as an investor profile that's going to make certain projects more compatible with their investment approach than others, that's something that can be proprietary. That now you're really doing something that nobody else is doing, and that is really helpful to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It just elevates the game a lot, for sure.
And once you set up that structure is like the skeleton of your of your system there, and then you're fleshing it out with your all of your content and things are now coming to fit in this context. That you're going to write a great weekly email that's going to give people insight, that's going to be valuable, but also be a joy for you to create. Like, as much as you like to write, then you're going to fit it so that you get to that your content creation is joyful and effortless if you're doing something that you really love. Like for me, I like to talk, and doing these podcasts is joyful and effortless, right? Because I knew that I'm going to talk to, I know that I'm going to dial in on the phone at noon, and Todor's going to be there, and we're going to have a great conversation. And then at 1:00, we're done. And there's no way for me to procrastinate it. There's no way for me to get distracted while we're doing it. There's no, you know what I mean? I'm 100% focused for this 1 hour, and I feel energized at the end of it, not drained. Because I'm always excited about that we really hatched a great scheme, and I can't wait to see this take off and get into action. And I know that, when people come on and we have these conversations, that's how they feel, right? Like when you're just hearing you talk about this now, the clarity that you're getting in this
absolutely
is energizing for both of us, right? Because now you've got a track to run on.
Yeah, it's just like almost immediate clarity and almost like new ideas that have been kind of sitting somewhere in the unconscious mind. They just come to the surface. It's like, that's what I have to do.
Yeah. Now, if that, and there's part of the thing, whatever media you can do, if you really look, it's about digitizing what it is that you've done. So it's either text by writing, or it's audio by talking, or it's video by recording that, or it's, images of, pictures and graphics and those kind of things that are going to help people. That's all there is. That's the 100% of all content is made up of those four things, those four base ingredients, And so the thing that I love about the audio is that I get the audio form of the podcast, but we also, as soon as that gets transcribed, that becomes then text that now, that fuels. We send out 3 emails a week based on the content that I talk about and get transcribed from the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
So it may go the other way for you, that you may like your base, your base line way of capturing content is writing, and then you may be able to get together with someone and talk about it or go over that at the workshops, and you may end up live streaming or recording the workshops, so that even if people can't make it physically to the workshop, they can watch on Facebook Live or watch the replay of it, or get the benefit from it.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
And you may take
I
video.
feel a lot more energized
You may take video tours of where all the new projects are too, especially when they're at different phases. I think what will be valuable for people now making a decision is to, I mentioned earlier, talking about the projects that have just been announced and the projects that are being released now, available for sale or about to be, and then also the ones that are closing this week that started 2 years ago, and then now analyzing what happened, because I think it would be really exciting for people to see what could have happened if they had invested 2 years ago. Here's how this plays out, that the more evidence that they see of real situations where this is how it played out, that they had to make, investments on day one, and then at this level and at this level, but this is the ROI that people would have gotten on those now. That's valuable for people going forward. And imagine, you've been doing this report for 3 years now, and you've got a year's worth of all the projects that you announced, 2 years ago.
I already have projects that have are just completing the cycle. So, that analysis of what happened over the last 3.5, 4 years, and where people were at the beginning and what happened in the middle and what's going on at the end. It's really cool to see. Really,
awesome.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's also very cool for me because I was like, at that time I was just predicting it. Yeah. But now that it happened, it's like, this is exactly what I was talking about, and it happened.
Yeah.
And it happened to, many people, and it can happen to a lot more people, and just exciting.
Yeah. I love that. It's exciting because, this is I love longevity, and that's the kind of thing, like, it's exciting to me to this last week, getting all the results from Tony Kelsey to add to the 5th year of our 5-year case study, to see the ROI going up, to see the total transactions and the volume just growing steeply in that curve.
Mm-hmm.
is amazing, right? I love to see stuff like that. I can't wait to see how it plays out after, imagine what a 10-year chart is going to look like. That's phenomenal.
Exactly. It's going to exponentially grow from where it is today.
Absolutely.
And it all kind of like the critical point when you showed us this graph was just, overcoming the initial 3 or 4 months.
That's exactly right.
Once you get over that hump, and once you get over, once you decide not to fall for the logical, in quotation, urge to quit because it just doesn't make sense anymore, right?
Yeah.
But you just stick it a little bit longer, then magic happens.
Yeah.
And I've seen it again and again and again because my style in real estate is always education, and it's always helping. The transaction, the commission, the money. This is just a byproduct, right? It happens.
Yeah.
So it's not really something that I can. I'm not focused on making that, but I'm focused on making the experience, the education, the decision, the selection process, the connection. That's what I'm always focused on making, and I know that the rest just falls.
Mm-hmm. So what's going to be your action steps here? What have you heard? Taken away as your notes there.
Right. So I I'm going to re-listen to the conversation again, obviously, but from what I remember for now is like that I really connected with the idea of this scorecard, where I can have clients evaluate properties that they see, based on some common criteria and descriptions, and then they can see for themselves if that fits or it doesn't fit, and just moves them forward. So that scorecard is something that I definitely want to do. The second part was that report that I'm going to start coming out with every month or so. That would just basically a bird's eye view of the landscape in GTA pre-construction for the month. We've got these projects going on, and this is what's good about this area, this project, and all of that. Then restarting the club and those educational sessions for sure. Working on the 3 things that I can help people with in my email signature. Really dial that in. Just get more opportunities to engage people in a conversation, in a bigger group, whether it's a club meeting or a condo tour or like a video seminar, something along those lines.
And it might be an interesting thing to look back now and say, if you had a book for people who were considering buying pre-construction condos, to kind of educate them and go through that process, that it could be, a great way for people to start the process.
Yeah.
Because that also then becomes a referral tool for you.
It's almost like what you need to know if you're considering pre-construction.
Yeah. Well, start with that. Don't ask that question, but go to the next level. Here's what you need to know. That if somebody's looking at that as the guide to investing in pre-construction condos, that's really what people would say, right? What would be the dream come true for somebody who's thinking about investing in pre-construction condos? What would be the title of the book? And this is something that you're going to come up with after much thought and just reflection, right? Like I often, when I'm titling something or I'm thinking about something as a writing project, I'll create what I call a word palette, where I'll think of all of the words and things that will that are both positive and negative, the best words and the worst words, what people want to avoid, to get this palette of what the tone of everything is, and then come up with a book title that is compelling to the person who's thinking about investing in pre-construction condos, and offer that with as a way for them to start the ball. And then when they do that, we treat that as if it's the portal to your office, right? And we just have a conversation with them, find out, are they 5-star prospects, right? Are they friendly and cooperative? Are they willing to engage in a dialogue? Are they friendly and cooperative? Do they know what they want? Do they know when they want it? Would they like us to help them? We have a conversation about that. And then you've got all of this infrastructure that's completely set up to nurture a long-term relationship with people, to educate and motivate them until they're ready, right? That's why we always say in the thing, whenever you're ready, here's 3 ways I can help you. Get the info.
And that's the key.
Workshop,
yeah, I found that. Yeah. This
is exciting. I think we really architected out the framework for you, the structure of it.
Yes, for sure.
And now it's nice that when you've got that context, the content is, you've got constantly a new flow of content. You're not having to make stuff up. You've constantly got new things happening. The market's changing. The environment is changing. New projects are coming on. New projects are closing. New happy clients that are getting their checks and all the things that people are hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
All very exciting, Todor.
It is. I'm just already getting ready to go and start implementing.
I can't wait. Well, keep me posted, right? And let me see the results here. What we get it on your list and see everything as it's unfolding. I love to watch and observe and add input and help you out however I can.
For sure, everything that I implement, I'll let you know how it goes. Like, I'm sure it's going to be successful, but it will also increase the results for sure.
That's awesome. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Well, Todor, I enjoyed it. It's always nice to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Dean.
Thanks, Todor.
Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
And there we have it. Another great episode. Thanks for listening in. If you want to continue the conversation, we'll go deeper in how the 8 Profit Activators can apply to your business. 2 things you can do. Right now, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com and you can download a copy of the More Cheese Less Whiskers book, and you can listen to the back episodes, of course, if you're just listening here on iTunes. Secondly, the thing that we talk about in applying all of the 8 Profit Activators are part of the breakthrough DNA process. And you can download a book and a scorecard and watch a video all about the 8 Profit Activators at breakthroughdna.com. And that's a great place to start the journey in applying this scientific approach to growing your business. That's really the way we think about Breakthrough DNA, as an operating system that you can overlay on your existing business and immediately look for insights there. So that's it for this week. Have a great week, and we will be back next time with another episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.